I never thought my marriage would end like this. Not with screaming, not with tears, but with the quiet sound of my own heartbeat breaking. Emily and I had been together for 9 years. She was my college sweetheart, my partner through the chaos of our 20s, the woman I thought I would grow old with. We weren't perfect, no marriage is, but I believed we were solid. I worked long hours managing my small construction company, not because I loved being away from her, but because I wanted to give us a better life. The long weekends, the vacations we planned but never took, the dream of a bigger home. They were all sacrifices I thought we were making together. But lately, Emily had been different. She'd started going to the gym more, wearing new clothes that didn't quite feel like her, and spending evenings catching up with friends I'd never met. I wanted to believe she was just finding herself again, that maybe this was her way of feeling more confident. The truth was far uglier. It started with a text, a single message from an unknown number that popped up on her phone while it charged in the kitchen. "Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you." My hands shook as I read it, my mind searching for explanations, clinging to any thread that didn't involve betrayal. I confronted her that night, but instead of tears or guilt, she just sighed and admitted it. There was no hesitation. "No, it's not what you think." She told me she'd met him at the gym, that they'd connected, in a way she claimed we hadn't in years. Then came the part that cut deeper than anything else. She smirked, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "He's just more of a man than you in every way." The implication was clear, and it wasn't just about his personality. My chest burned, but I didn't yell. I didn't beg. Something inside me shifted that night, a cold clarity replacing the love I'd once felt. She packed a bag 2 days later and left to figure things out. But I already knew the truth. She wasn't figuring anything out. She was with him. Friends whispered about seeing them together in public, his arms slung over her shoulders, her laughing like she used to with me. Every photo, every rumor, every memory they shattered only fed the fire inside me. She thought she'd broken me, but all she'd done was wake up a part of me I didn't even know existed. The part that doesn't forgive, the part that plans. And what I had in mind for Emily wasn't going to be loud, messy, or desperate. No. My revenge would be calculated, silent, and brutal. I never thought I'd be the kind of man who would one day plot revenge against the woman I once swore to love forever. Emily and I had been married for 12 years. 12 long years where I worked my fingers to the bone to provide for us, while she enjoyed the comfort of a life I thought we were building together. I wasn't rich, but I made sure she never wanted for anything. She had her dream kitchen, her designer handbags, and her weekends free to hang out with her friends. I trusted her completely. Or maybe I was just too naive to see what was right in front of me. The first crack in the picture-perfect life we portrayed came when I noticed her phone habits changing. Emily had always been open with her phone, leaving it on the counter, letting me use it if mine was charging. But suddenly, it became an extension of her arm. She'd turn it face down, walk into another room to answer calls, and get defensive if I so much as glanced in its direction. I brushed it off at first, convincing myself she was just stressed. But the truth came crashing down one Friday night when she told me she was meeting the girls for dinner. Something didn't feel right, so I decided to swing by the restaurant she claimed she was going to, only to find she wasn't there. My gut twisted as I followed her GPS location, and my worst nightmare unfolded before me. Emily was at a hotel, with a man I had never seen before. From the moment I saw them together, laughing like teenagers, I knew I could never unsee it. But here's the part that turned my heartbreak into rage. This man wasn't just anyone. He was some flashy gym trainer with a bodybuilder's physique, the kind of guy who made no secret of his assets. It didn't take long before I heard through mutual acquaintances that Emily had been bragging about her upgrade, saying she deserved someone who could satisfy her better. That night, I didn't confront her. I didn't cause a scene. Instead, I walked away and started planning something that would hit her harder than she could imagine. I was going to make sure she lost not just me, but everything she'd built her comfort around. The more I thought about it, the more the puzzle pieces fell into place. Derek wasn't some random name. He was her coworker, the one she always claimed was just a friend, and like a brother. I replayed every moment she had mentioned him. The way her eyes lit up, the sudden smile she tried to hide, the extra time she started spending at work. My gut twisted as I realized how naive I had been. For months, she had been creating a separate life, brick by brick, right under my nose. All the coldness, the excuses, the late nights, they weren't symptoms of a rough patch. They were symptoms of betrayal. That night, I didn't confront her. I simply went to bed, but my mind was racing. I started pulling our bank statements, scrolling through phone records, checking social media tags. Every trail pointed back to Derek. Dinner charges at places she'd never taken me, hotel transactions during business trips. Even a photo of the two of them on his private Instagram, her hand on his chest, smiling like a woman in love. My blood boiled, but I didn't explode. No, I planned. If she thought I would just cry and beg, she didn't know me at all. I was going to make sure that when this came crashing down, she wouldn't just lose me. She'd lose the entire fantasy life she'd built around him. The guilt of my revenge never came, not for a single second. If anything, it felt like the first deep breath I'd taken in years. When the last box was packed, and the house was empty except for my echoing footsteps, I left the keys on the counter, locked the door, and drove away without looking back. No farewell note. No parting words. Just silence. A silence I knew would suffocate her the moment she walked in. Her world had revolved around control, around making sure every detail bent to her will. Taking that away was the purest justice I could give myself. Weeks later, I heard through mutual friends that she'd come home to nothing. Not just physically, but emotionally. The larger lover? Gone within a month. Apparently, he wasn't interested in her once the novelty wore off. She tried calling me, of course, but I changed my number, blocked every account, erased every trace. She didn't deserve even the satisfaction of a fight. My life, on the other hand, began to breathe again. I poured myself into rebuilding, physically, financially, emotionally. It wasn't about finding someone else or proving a point. It was about reclaiming the man I'd been before her shadow crept over every part of my existence. And when I looked in the mirror one morning, months later, I realized something. I didn't just win. I was free.